Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Putazos y Pendejadas. I'm Mark Salinas, along with David, my partner over in Manhattan. What's up, David?
What's going on, Mark? How you doing, man?
Pretty good, man. We had some interesting things happen last week. We're gonna go over last week's fights, boxing news, etc., and we're also going to go ahead and talk about this weekend's upcoming fights and a few news updates, interesting things we want to bring to you guys. Why don't you go ahead and start us off, Dave? Start off with last week.
Yeah, man. Last week we had the Romero versus Barroso fight. Romero won by very questionable stoppage. I gotta tell you, man, I was heated when I saw what went down. Um, Rolly didn't even land punches, and our man Tony Weeks. You
Yeah.
said this earlier, Mark. A guy who's never really been mentioned in that bad ref move. He doesn't have a bad highlight to his name. He's been in
Mhm.
some. He's been a pretty reliable referee, and to see what happened Saturday was very surprising.
Yeah, Tony never gets involved in anything crazy like that. And obviously, we had a crazy controversial stoppage. It was an early stoppage. Yeah, like you said, the guy wasn't even being hit once you saw it in slow mo. I think he did get hit earlier, and it was a late stumble back, but he was actually the one landing punches. And, the stoppage came in while he wasn't getting hit at all. So, and he was in the fight. He was slugging with Rolly. It looked like he had a shot. All three scorecards had him up by a few rounds. Actually, all of them had him up by at least 2 rounds. And then the knockdown. So he was way up on the cards. But I mean, we talked about it. Ultimately, I don't think the guy had a shot anyway. After hearing Rolly's remarks and his trainer's remarks afterwards, they were saying that that was pretty much the. I mean, it was a bad stoppage anyway, but it was going the way Rolly and his trainer wanted to. What they did is when they found out they were going to fight this guy, they changed the whole plan up and said, "Look, we're going to run around and do nothing. He's 40 years old. Let's get him in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th." And they literally did that. Like, literally ran around the ring. He didn't throw much. He was like, on his bike. And one, it was a bad plan to begin with. Who does that to a 40-year-old? Take him out early. Two, he doesn't have the skill to be running around, things like that. And three, it was just a bad plan. Why does he have that coach? I mean, I think he needs a new coach. That guy is not at a level as other coaches. I forget Rolly's trainer's name, but he's not a
Bullet, they
he's
call him
not an
Bullet.
all star. What's his name?
Bullet. Well, I know his nickname's Bullet. Um,
Okay, Bullet needs to get out of
get out of the
A class
chamber.
fighting. I mean, Bullet needs to be out of the chamber, man. That Bullet needs to be taken out and put back because it's firing duds, man. It ain't going. No, Bullet is a horrible trainer, man. I hate. I never say that about trainers, but this guy, maybe he's not a horrible trainer, but he's not a pro trainer. He's not at the level. He's not a trainer to fight, like, I mean, to be training Rolly at the level that Rolly's fighting at now. Rolly, he was good for Rolly, I guess, in his early career and stuff, but now Rolly's a big, big star, and he's fighting big, big matches and big stars. He needs a better trainer, a Robert Garcia, a Derek James, who Ryan just got with, Freddie Roach, something, Joel Diaz, anybody, man, but that guy. But I'm not mad.
I gotta disagree with you, brother. I'm sorry, I had to jump
I
in
was
right there.
mad, but
I don't
he
think
didn't
it
have a shot.
matters. I don't think it matters who you could get Customato and Eddie Futch and work with Rolly, and that ball of clay is not turning in anything special, man. It's just not. Rolly Romero is a very limited fighter, very limited skills. Came into the boxing game really late. I mean, hey, it's amazing what he was able to do in a short amount of time. I got to give the
Yeah.
guy credit, right? He's a hard worker and whatnot, but he's just not at an elite level boxer. I don't think there's anybody that can really bring him to that level. He's already getting knocked out in sparring.
Yeah.
His days in the limelight are pretty numbered. That's why I think that's why he's really eager to cash out in his next fight. He wants a big fight with Ryan Garcia. He wants a rematch with Tank because he's looking to cash in and try to make that pay-per-view money because he knows that if he keeps fighting any top-ranked fighters, which Barroso was, he's going to end up losing before he gets that big payday. So I'm actually kind of not just mad at the stoppage, but I'm mad at, like, look, this guy Barroso is 40 years old, man. How many fights, how many opportunities like this is he's going to get? Like, people really, they gloss over this fact. Boxers sacrifice a lot. They sacrifice a lot of time away from their families. They sacrifice a lot of their lives going into training camps. I mean, these guys go into monk mode, right?
Yeah.
Throw away their vices. They don't get to eat the foods that they like to eat for weeks on end, man. Like, and they do this several times a year, most of them. And here's a guy who's 40 years old, doesn't have many days left in his, many opportunities like this in his career. To be taken away from him in that fashion is it really gets me upset. So I'm just looking at it from that point of view. When is he going to get an opportunity like that again? He's never going to fight another Romero, a guy with limited skills, with that kind of spotlight on him, and to get a shot like that, become a champion.
But we don't. Well, we do disagree on that one. I really don't think it would have mattered if they let him go anyway. I'm not.
Well, I'll tell you what mattered. Those scorecards mattered. Those scorecards mattered, and that knockdown where he was buzzing Rolly several times in that fight, that matters. So he was in that fight to the very end. I think it's a travesty that it didn't get allowed.
He was in it with that, but it wouldn't have mattered. Now that I heard like their plan, and I think Rolly is talented.
You just said his trainer sucked, and you're believing in the plan of that trainer. All right. Yeah.
I mean, that was the plan they had. It is a shitty plan, but I think that it would have worked out for them in that situation. But that's a freaking horrible plan, and he's a horrible trainer. But on to the next one. We disagree on that one. Rolly is good. He just needs a good trainer. Get yourself a trainer, Rolly. All right, man. Let's go to the next one. We had Yana Beck and Butler. What'd you think of that one, man? Did Yana Beck make a statement, man? I think he made a hell of a statement.
Absolutely. We talked about it last week. We said that he had a pretty rough fight in his last fight, and he definitely was looking to get back in the win column and win impressively. And I think he did that. I mean, it must be noted, Butler, before that fight, he had already lost 3 fights, all by knockout. So it wasn't like he came in with the strongest chin. And then to be fighting a fighter with Johnny Beck's punch power, it was pretty much a given that he was going to get rocked or get into some trouble in this fight. And it happened really early. I was surprised that it happened as early as it did.
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely put his statement out there. He's
hell of an uppercut, right?
Yeah, looks like he's going to be here for a while. It was a hell of a statement by Janabek, and I'm looking forward to see other fights with him. Who do you see in his future?
Well, he's at 160. So, I mean, middleweight's kind of a barren wasteland right now as far as big fights are concerned. You still have Munguia there. You still have Jermall Charlo. But those guys aren't looking at Johnny Beck's way. That said, though, Bubu Andrade is talking about, or Andrade, whichever way he wants to pronounce it. He's a floater. He could be looking to going back down to 160, 168. But yeah, I think Munguia is probably the best bet. But they're looking to put Munguia in against Canelo. They're trying to get him a super big fight in that fashion. So I don't know. 160 again. It's just one of those weight classes where it's not really happening right now.
Yeah. Well, it was a good weekend last weekend for boxing. I mean, I know we had some horrible decisions and a lot of people got angry, but there was 2 events. Both of them are really good. I wanted to mention Gabriel Flores. He had a really big win, a really quick stoppage. Looks like he's back on track. He's only 27. Hopefully, he can get himself in title contention soon. What do we got? A look at this weekend, David. We have really good fights. I want to go ahead and weakest to best fight of the weekend. I mean, not that they're weak fights, but build. The lower ones building up to the better fights. We got Oscar Valdez in a rematch with Adam Lopez. Looks like they fought in 2016. It was a pretty good fight. Looks like Oscar wants a little bit of get back because he didn't look good. I mean, he stopped him in the 7th, but I think he was dropped as well. What do you think about that one, Dave? I mean, it is I guess that's what you would define as a step over match or a tune-up match or something like that. Is that a
tune-up?
But
it's weird that you would rematch a fighter you already beat. This is the rematch nobody asked for. I didn't ask for it. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know why it's happening. Valdez has bigger fish to fry. Lopez is kind of on a downslide at this point. It's I don't know. It's just a poor matchup. I expect better from Top Rank. They usually do much better than this. So I don't know. I'm not really excited about it. Pretty much the only good thing about it is getting to see Valdez in the ring. The last time we saw him, he got dismantled by Shakur Stevenson. He's just, I guess we're just trying to see where he's at right now mentally and if he can bounce back from it. It's pretty brutal. I wouldn't say brutal, but it was like he got undressed pretty bad in that fight. He was never in it at all.
He was embarrassed, and this is definitely a get right fight. It definitely is a tune-up fight, even though Adam Lopez has been screaming that this is not a tune-up fight, and this and that. That guy's best days are behind him. He's only 27.
It's the definition of a tune-up fight.
Yeah, he's had. He used to be a prospect back when he fought him the first time, but he's had a lot of personal problems since then. He hasn't gotten his life together. So yeah, that is a comeback fight. I do respect Oscar Valdez for doing it because sometimes, as our friend here on this channel, Danielle Perkins, said, she had a fight with Monica and she beat her convincingly, and she got the rematch just because she didn't like the way she looked the first time. She was embarrassed about it and she wanted to get some get back and didn't care who minded. It's for her, and I respect Oscar for that. So I respect him.
I do think there's a little difference though, because Danielle is still young in her career.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect to it, and
you're right.
He doesn't have a lot. She has limited opponents. There are limited opponents in the division as well. So I don't fault Danielle so much for that. Being that,
but Oscar's already at a point where he needs to start picking and choosing his fights, right?
Yeah, like he's his former champ, bro. He's a former world champion, 2-weight divisions. He can't be doing stuff. I don't know. He can't be doing stuff like that.
Yeah. We got Mayhem Maloney's brother, Andrew Maloney, who's fighting a 12-rounder for the vacant WBO junior bantamweight title this weekend as well. Andrew said that, he was very happy for Jason, and he is looking forward to continuing the family tradition there this weekend, according to Boxing Scene. What do you think about this fight? Do you think the Maloneys continue their success here and have a house full of champions?
Well, I don't know. I'm really looking forward to seeing Junto Nakatani. He's a fighter out of Japan. He's undefeated. He's just got him pulled up right here. 24-0, 18 KOs. He's on a undefeated streak right now, and he's been looking really good. He hasn't fought any killers yet, but He's just going to be. I think it's his second fight in the United States. So I'm just kind of looking forward to seeing him. I haven't seen him fight live. Just seen some clips about him. So I think Maloney's in against. He's facing a tall task here because Nakatani's coming in as a hot fighter.
Right. So we both have Oscar. What do you? Who are you picking for this fight with Maloney and Nakatani?
Nakatani. I got to go with Nakatani, man. I think Japan's got something to say in the junior bantamweight division.
Yeah, man. Those guys in Japan are freaking warriors, man. Sons of samurais, all that Bushido. These guys are freaking monster killers. Killers at the fucking bantamweight division. So I think he will take care of Maloney as well, because just the tradition at that weight class over there, man. Those guys are monsters. They'll die in the ring.
There's a lot of pride.
Really
There's a lot of pride for sure.
Yeah, and so you and I have Nakatani as well. We also have a big one, a very big one. Devin Haney, Vasily Lomachenko. All the boxing world will be watching this. They've already had a bunch of specials on it, Top Rank specials, those 24/7s, whatever they call them, on, each individual programming, but we all know it is 24/7. The Godfather, Oscar de la Hoya, started that, not Mayweather. Oscar de la Hoya started that, but we'll get off him. What do you think of this one, David? This one's going to be really, really exciting.
Yeah, I definitely think this is the big fight of the year. We don't have Crawford Spence signed yet. It's not official, although there are rumblings and it's in the works. Forget about Garcia and Tank Davis. This is a fight that has ramifications that matter. You're talking about the lightweight championship, undisputed. All the belts are on the line.
Yeah.
And whoever wins will become the undisputed champion. Undisputed. It's gonna, if Haney wins, you've got him being the solidified king. Like right now, he is the king, right? But who did he beat to be king? George Kambosos. Who knows that guy? Not a lot of people. How many people know Loma? Loma has a pedigree. He has the background. He has the reputation. If Haney can get Loma's scalp on his belt, that would be a huge accomplishment.
He fought Linares. He beat Linares.
An older Linares, not quite at his best Linares, who still gave him trouble and almost had him out at the end. So let's not forget that either. That's important. Loma has a win over Linares as well, but a much fresher, younger version of Linares was actually at that fight. And Linares, for all his faults, very good fighter. That's true. But, you put a number of years, you add a number of years to a career like that, it'll take its toll. So we'll see. Haney probably still has the better resume if you want to talk about recent fights. But overall, like, Loma's definitely, I think, just a notch above as far as accomplishments. Multiple 3 division weight champ. He has some big names on his scalp. Of course, he's been in the fight game for a while, a lot longer than Haney. Haney has more fights in the pros. It's kind of a toss-up. I mean, you're thinking about experience versus youth. That's one way to look at it. Another one is youth versus old age. There's a 10 age difference between the two fighters. I don't know. The more I look at this fight, the harder. I was leaning towards Loma a lot. Then I went back and forth on it. Kind of decided. I started thinking, Haney is gonna make this an ugly fight, the way he kind of did with Kambosos. He's got the reach. He's got the height on Loma. He's got youth. But then I started watching Loma again, and I'm just starting to realize, y'all must have forgot. Remember Roy Jones? Y'all must have forgot. Y'all must have forgot who Loma was. And I think I was starting to forget as well. He is a bad dude, and he knows how to nullify those clinches, like to get out of that clinch. Haney's not going to be able to do that with him. He's not going to jab and grab. Loma's going to know how to fight out of that and make Haney pay. And if Haney decides to be aggressive, I can see Loma taking advantage of him if they're within range. I don't want to go too much into predictions and all that, but I think if Haney tries to establish long distance pot shot from the outside, you need a prediction. I think Loma wins it.
Man.
I think Loma wins it, man. I think Loma's going to take him out. I don't know. I would if I were a bet man, if I was going to take a risk, I'd say Loma by stoppage.
Nah, man. Loma ain't gonna do shit to this guy.
That's your high value analysis. Number.
Yeah, that's it. Nambe, this guy sucks, right? Nah, but for real, okay, Loma's badass. Obviously, he's one of the best amateurs who ever lived. Probably the best amateur who ever lived. He had one of the best amateur careers that anybody's ever had. Became pro really late, and then took over the world. He was making everybody quit at those lower weight classes. You told me he was making everybody stop, but it was lower weight classes. Remember, he made Rigo look really, really bad. He made a few others quit.
They were calling him Nomas.
Yeah, he had a lot of he had like ridiculous success, and then he's getting higher, in other weight classes, and he's fallen a little, and that has to do with age as well, and also getting a little higher up there in weight class and fighting bigger monsters. So I think his best days are way, way behind him already. I know that sounds weird, but he fell off a cliff, and the reason we see that he fell off a cliff is because we got to see him famous at his old career. Nobody paid attention to him when he was in his 20s and young and fighting in the amateurs. So it looks like he fell off a cliff, but it was probably a decline, but we didn't get to see the whole thing. I'm going to go ahead and take Haney. I mean, Haney's a badass, man. He's fought in Tijuana with a lot of dudes. I think he's fought 12 times in Tijuana. That's hard. I mean, he didn't even go to the Olympics. He decided, screw the Olympics. Let me go to Mexico and throw chingazos with some fucking 30, 40-year-old men, dude. I mean, this guy was a teenager fighting older dudes, man. And I think he got toughened up down there. He lives, eats, shits, and breathes boxing in Vegas. This family moved from Oakland to Vegas banking on his on Devin Haney. His mom, his dad, they all moved to Vegas because it's a big fight town. They didn't see a future in the Bay Area. They came over here. I mean, this guy's got it all. He's a good story. He's fast. He's not super strong. He's fast.
Did you hear about him when he was young? He was they called him the middle school. He was a middle school legend in the fight yard. He used to fight a lot.
He's not scared. He went to go to TJ, a whole other country at 17, and you're in the boxing world, so the caliber of fighters at TJ in Mexico City, and you're gonna turn pro there. I mean, that was some nuts, man. Anything can happen.
He wasn't exactly fighting the cream of the crop either. Let's hold it down a little bit. I see what you're saying. Yeah, that takes takes balls and and confidence, right? You're a young boy.
I think that has
you're not even a man.
I think it has a big factor that he fought in Tijuana. Yeah,
but again, he wasn't. But I think it's Eric Morales down there. All right, so let's.
Yeah, but he was fighting. I mean, Tijuana's full of everybody in Mexico can fight, man. All those guys, all those boxers is a tough fight. I don't care who it is. You're gonna fight somebody. You're gonna be in a fight. So I respect that. He's got good skills, good speed. He's been through everything. I already think at this early stage in his career. He fought Linares. He overcame being buzzed really bad by Linares. He stumbled into the corner, if you remember, snapped out of it, won that. I think Loma is going to be taken out, and I think it's going to be taken out easy, and I think it's going to be a decision,
Okay, I
and
was
it's
gonna
going to be
say.
very easy.
I thought
It's going to be
I was
easy.
wondering
It's
if
going
you
to be
were
an easy
thinking about
decision.
like takeout or
Nah, he's not gonna take him out. I mean, he's Ukrainian tough. El vato, he's
and
tough.
Haney isn't known for punching power either.
Nah, he ain't
I
known for
bet
punching power
it
tampoco,
probably
pero el
stings.
vato,
He
he's
probably
quick.
stings you. He stings like a bee, but he's not taking out anybody.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's good. I got Haney, you got Loma. We'll
Absolutely.
see. All right, now we got another huge event. The women on the zone. The zone has been killing it with women fights.
Boxing, yeah.
This is another women's boxing. This is another huge event. Katie Taylor against Chantelle Cameron. And correct me, Dave, if I'm wrong, but Katie Taylor's moving up, right?
Yep, she's moving
She's
up to
moving up
140.
to win, and she's already undisputed in her division. She's moving up to fight for all the freaking marbles at 135. That's what I like about women's boxing, man. Me and you've talked about it a lot. They are just fighting each other, champions fighting each other. They make it exciting. Nobody ducks anybody. I think that women's boxing is bigger than it's ever been, and it's weird because we used to have legends like Christy Martin, Layla Ali, but the level of boxing right now for women is huge. They're getting paid high dollar. I mean, they're heading pay-per-view matches in New York. This one is, I believe, in Ireland, right?
In her
I
hometown.
mean, in her hometown, and it's a pay-per-view. I mean, these girls are doing it, and they're doing it at a large scale. I know I'm wrong. I'm reading your notes. She was at 135. She's moving up to 140. So she's undisputed at lightweight 135 for women. She's going for undisputed at one. No, is she fighting for all the belts or
all of the belts?
No,
Cameron's belts are all on the line, man.
Will they consider her undisputed for both?
Absolutely.
No, mom. Yeah, she's gonna be badass then, dude. Yeah, and then after that, I'm not gonna give my prediction today. We got a show tomorrow. You may be out. Talk to us about this fight. It's huge and what it means, and also give us your prediction.
Well, it's no secret I've become more of a fan of women's boxing recently, and this fight is the reason why, man. Like, the women are doing their thing. They're trying to see who's the best, and they're crossing division lines to prove it. And this is just another example of it. I like both women, actually. I'm more familiar with Katie Taylor. She's really busy, very active, fast, quick hands. But I just think Cameron is the bigger fighter. And, those 5 pounds, man, that lightweight jump, 135 to 140, some people might think, oh, that's just 5 pounds. That's a big jump.
At 135, that is a big deal. Now, you're 200 pounds, and like if you're a heavyweight at 200, it's equivalent to the other person coming in like at 225. If you're at 135 going to 140, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's a huge deal. It's a huge deal.
And Katie gets marked up at 135 whenever she fights. So I can expect her to receive probably this just even more damage. So I applaud her, man. I think I think it's going to be an awesome fight. I think it might be a step too high for her, but we'll see. Mm-hmm. You never know, man. That's why we got to fight the fights.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to be a really, really big fight. So you're picking
Chantelle.
Yeah, I been thinking about it a lot. I'm not gonna reveal who I'm picking on this one because we will be on tomorrow as well. We have a special guest with us, Danielle Perkins, who's a pro woman fighter as well. And we're gonna let her chime in on this. And I'll wait for her to make her decision. My decision on who am I gonna pick on that one. Yeah, that's pretty much it for big fights this weekend, David. We have a few news and notes to go over here. Regis has got a fight June 17th. Looks like the zone is trying to speed things up with this guy right now. I'm thinking it's a lack of stars on the zone's roster and also Matchbox. They want to start pushing Regis, and I think they see like maybe a little bit of a star or a future the zone star that they can build on. So they're rushing something. They're looking for something June 17th. They're looking for an opponent. I believe you said they had one and they lost him. Is that right?
Right. It was Liam Parro, I think.
Mhm.
I don't know. I didn't know much about him, but he seemed very confident. He was talking like he's gonna stun the hometown crowd, but then he had to pull out with an injury. So they're kind of scrambling right now, and I think they might even get a better opponent than that with Barbosa Jr. It's funny. Barbosa's manager had made fun of Regis for signing with Matchroom. He said that Regis was quote unquote dodging competition and ducking the top rank fighters because top rank has a lot of 140 pounders. But now it looks like his fighter is in the running to get the first fight against Regis. So it's kind of funny. Regis isn't ducking anybody, but we'll see if Barbosa signs up for this match and takes the big risk and a shot at the title.
Yeah. Yeah. They're I'm happy that he signed with them, and yeah, he is
Me too, man. I think Regis
anybody.
is in a good position right now. I think it was a
Yeah.
good move. And
Yeah,
I
definitely,
agree with
because
you.
he's a star over there.
I think Matchroom is trying to back him because they see him as someone who
A good star.
could potentially cause some ripples in the 140-pound division. And he's looking to unify. He's made no secret about it. He wants to unify the titles. So Regis is all about that action. And man, I can't wait to see what happens.
Yeah, I think he's going to turn out good for Matchroom in the zone. I think they're going to get their money's worth with this guy. I know they're trying to make him a star. I mean, that's why they're pushing June 17th. And it doesn't even look like they're looking for a big name. They just want him to crack somebody, get his name out there, and start pushing for those bigger fights.
Well, Barbosa is a solid name, man. I mean, Teofimo was in the running to fight him, and he looked the other way. So,
what do you see? Who do you see in his future? Lopez, Taylor. Do you like any of them?
I want to see it all. I definitely would love for Regis Prograis to face the winner of Josh Taylor versus Teofimo Lopez.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
I am here for that, man. The one that I really want to see, we've talked about this before, Subriel Matias versus Regis Prograis. That would be a spectacle, man.
I would love to see that as well, but I want to see him.
Hide your kids, hide your wife. If that fight ever gets made,
but I'd like to see him fight a bigger name and get some money. The guy's been through a lot to get to where he is. I'd like to see him make a little bit of feria and then take a risk with a no-namer, because you take a no-namer, you get a big risk.
Hey, Subriel Matias is not a no-namer, man. He's a champ at 140. And you know what? You want to become a name? You want to become a name? You got to gather up that hardware. Get those gold belts.
Yeah.
That's how you become a name. And
is he a bigger name than Taylor?
No, I don't think so.
Is he a bigger name than Teofimo Lopez?
No. But
is Teofimo Lopez a bigger name than Taylor?
In the States, absolutely.
Okay, so I want him to fight either Lopez first, just to get a big payday. Those two guys would make big money. If not, a Taylor, and if he's done with them two, after that, Matias, but not right now, man. Get the guys, because Matias is the type of dude that can just flush all that down the toilet for you, man. I don't want to see him make a second.
True, but think about what an awesome fight that would be, and what is going to get people talking. a great fight, right? So it's boxing is the beauty of boxing is when you get two people who match up very well, there's nothing that can beat it, man. And I think Prograis and Matias, those are guys that match up really well with each other, and you will see something special that night if they ever get in the ring together.
Yeah, that's something to look forward to, man. Regis out there with Matchbox and them. June 17th should be good with him, man. In other news, Tyson Fury spoke out. You know, that guy's freaking hilarious. He fucking
I don't know, man. I'm not a fan of the shit talking stuff.
I love him, man.
What did the guy say? What did the guy say? I thought he was dogging your boy Andy Ruiz, right?
He did. The dog, my gordito chulo. I love fucking Andy Ruiz, but he fucking dogged everybody, man. He says, I've not fought since December through no fault of my own. I've tried to fight some little midget Usyk, and he's not wanted anything. I've tried AJ. He don't want no smoke. I've tried to fight everyone. Andy Ruiz Jr. asked for $20 million. Silly little bitch. Don't know. But if Joyce wants any, he also goes along to say he tried to look for Zhang, but Zhang's going to be busy with a rematch, and he's already signed up for that. Went along to dog Usyk and AJ a couple more times, threw a little F-bombs y la chingada. He's fucking hilarious, man. But I guess he's just coming out with a little bit of frustration that nothing's happened for him. And he also kind of wanted to let the fans know it isn't his fault.
I don't know, Mark. I've been keeping some tabs on what's been going on. I'm actually getting kind of tired of the shtick, for the Gypsy King. This guy's been beating around the bush trying to fight Usyk, saying no, and then yeah. And he was trying to fight Joshua, saying no, and then yeah. He doesn't seem like he's negotiating in good faith with anybody, really. Although if what he said is true about Andy Ruiz requesting $30 million.
I mean, yeah, the $20 million is ridiculous.
Yeah, that's kind of ridiculous for where you are right now.
Unless they're fighting in Saudi Arabia, because that prince will throw that money to them.
True. But,
he'll throw that money.
What's the cut, right? 20 million of what? You got to think about the pot. So whatever the pot is, and if Andy's wanting 20, and it's 50% of the pot, it's probably not, right? But if it's a higher percentage than what Fury is thinking he's worth, then it's too much. But that said, I'm not a big fan of Fury right now. He hasn't really done anything since he's fought Wilder. I'm kind of getting tired of the name calling and I think the guy. You know what? Just if you want to fight somebody, man, make it happen. That's all it comes down to. When it comes to Joshua, you got to understand something. Joshua moves the numbers in the UK. He's the more popular fighter in the UK, probably around the world when it comes to that. He'll pack stadiums. I mean, not to say Fury doesn't either, but who has the endorsement deals? Joshua. Yeah. Right? Joshua has the money behind him. So if you want to negotiate with Joshua, he's got to get you're talking at least equal, if not he gets a little bit more than you. But you got to be starting out on the equal ground, right? Yeah. Anyway, man, I'm not a fanager. I'm not trying to say I'm negotiating for people, but like the fact of the matter is, who is the constant in all of these negotiations failing? Fury, right? Yeah. Fury Joshua, Fury Usyk, Fury Ruiz. Who's the constant? Who's the one that can't get it together to get a fight going on? It's Fury. So where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm kind of getting tired of this guy's excuses and whatnot. I just want to see him fight. If he's not going to fight, I don't want to hear him.
Well, I personally am not tired of it. The guy's fucking hilarious. He ends it saying, I can't wait to fight Usyk, AJ, whoever is out there. I'm fucking you up because I'm the baddest motherfucker on the planet.
You know what that is? That's a lot of this, bro. That's a lot of this. Lace him up. Lace him
Hey,
up.
Andy Reese, if you're out there, he called you a silly little bitch. Where you can't fucking as a Chicano, you can't take that bitch slap that motherfucker. You're from Calexico. I know that El Centro, Calexico area, Mexicali. You should be able to fucking see him and just take flight. No, don't take no shit from that big fucking dude, man. Calling you
Don't
shit.
take shit from that big dude.
God damn, man. Andy, get it together. Go slap that vato. All right, we got this is really interesting, man. This is kind of weird. The
Wait a
WBC
minute. Do you think
president.
Ruiz has a shot to beat Fury?
No, I'm just thinking if he sees him somewhere at a boxing convention, slap the shit out
Fuck
of him
him up.
publicly, calling him a little bitch, silly little bitch. No mames, he's from fucking California, Southside California. Not only, but he's from the Central.
He's just talking yang, man. I don't care
That
about
is total disrespect. He's got if he was in front of him down there in that part of California, man, they got the fucking 10-second rule. If you don't take flight of a man who disrespects you within 10 seconds in front of everybody, I don't know. But he ain't in front of him. So when he gets in front of him,
This ain't high school, Mark. This is like real life, bro.
Hey,
And
these
you
guys
fuck
are
around and get
fighters,
sued.
and
You
they're
fuck
there
around and get
to
sued doing that
entertain
shit,
you.
man.
I want this to become WWF type shit. I want to see it. Now we got
Fury, just get in the damn ring. Stop talking.
we got WBC president Jose Suleiman. He will not sanction WBC bouts with Better Beef at 175 or WBC fights with Bival at 168. The reason he's not going to sanction these fights for them is because of the ongoing Russian-Ukrainian war, and he is taking a hard stance, and he will not be sanctioning any WBC fights for any Russian fighters. That obviously brings our favorite pupil in boxing, Oscar De La Hoya, in the mix because he's, throwing Munguia's name out there for Canelo. But, Canelo says he really doesn't mind the WBC belt not up there. He'll go ahead and challenge Bival for the WBA. But it's interesting that Oscar's in there trying to push the Munguia fight. That way the big belt is on the line, the WBC. He says Mexico deserves it, and I think so. But what do you think about WBC President Jose Suleiman taking a hard stance on Russia?
I think it's BS, bro. Like, I don't like politics in my boxing, to be honest with you. I don't care for it too much. This stance seems like BS to me. Bivol doesn't even live in Russia. He's based out of California. Better Biev, he's based in Canada. So like, what are you doing? Like, these guys are not politicians. They're not fighting wars. They're athletes. Remember Rocky IV?
Oh yeah,
they are not soldiers.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah. They're not soldiers, man.
Yeah,
They're athletes, world-class athletes. They didn't start this war. They're not publicly praising Putin. And if they are, then I'm maybe, right, I would say, okay, have them whatever. But no, fuck that. If they should have the freedom to say what they want, as long as they're not disrespecting people or whatnot. I don't know, man. It gets real messy. I think this is a bad move. Let the men fight. Let them, earn their money. They don't even live in that country. It's I don't know what's the saying. Like, there's no there. It's a stupid move.
Yeah, and WBC is in other news, WBC is also. This one is really, really cool. I want to hear what you think about this. WBC is announcing that they are backing Charlo 100% with his health issues. They're not going to strip him of his WBC title. I don't think he's fought, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dave, since 2019 or 2020.
It's been 2 years. 2 or 3
years. So he hasn't fought. People are calling for him to be stripped of his title. And Suleiman is taking a strong stance on this, going public about mental health, saying that he stands by his fighter and his mental health issues, going so far as even to say he's going to allow him to have a 10-round fight and still not strip him of it and not put his belt on the line. They even mentioned allowing him to have a 10-round fight without the belt on the line against Andrade. Charlo, 154-pound Charlo, mentioned that they haven't announced the 10-round fight, but he did mention that he was going to, if Charlo wants a 10-round fight, little get back, mental health, get right fight, he'll allow a 10-round fight, and still not strip him for the belt. What do you think of that, man?
I don't know. I think it's a nice gesture, but this happened, but we've seen this before. Tyson Fury was out for 3 years, also due to, mental health issues. While I think all fighters deserve some type of consideration for that, the sport needs to move on. There is a thing where you can have a champion in recess, like make the title available to the highest ranked contenders. Right?
Well, didn't they do that with
and not necessarily strip Charlo, but when he's ready to come back, he can get an automatic shot for the title. But
isn't that what they did with Tyson? Because when Tyson Fury was out for a while, he came back and he kept calling himself the lineal champion, not the actual.
He was
champion.
The lineal champ because he hadn't
So
lost.
they took his belt away.
But I'm sorry, man. When you retire. And you claim, I believe that's what he did. He said he was retired.
Oh.
When you retire, you lose that. Right?
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You don't retire and then come back and you're still the champ. You don't retire the champ and come back still the champ.
Remember he made his own lineal belt?
Yeah. And he retired about 3 or 4 times already. So he can kiss that lineal shit goodbye.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But that said, I think similar steps should be happening with Charlo. He can be a champion in recess. He didn't lose it in the ring. So if he decides to continue his boxing career, so be it. But don't hold up the division. Let other people get a chance for fighting. And I'm just seeing a trend with a lot of PBC fighters. They're not having to face mandatories, and they're kind of sitting on the pot without shitting, So, shit or get off, man. Shit or get off the pot. Like, the sport needs to move on. You can't have a stranglehold on the division if you're not going to compete. So, yes. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. While, I want to be sympathetic to Charlo, and, I have nothing against him. I'm actually a fan of the Charlos. I really like those dudes. They're really awesome to fans. They're really good taking pictures and just talking to fans. I don't think this is right. It's not fair to the other fighters in the division.
Definitely not fair to the other fighters, David. And Jose Suleiman, I think, is, going on some type of
don't say it.
Some type of campaign. I don't know. He's trying to go on a nice guy campaign, doing the not.
I don't know what's going on. Yeah, is he running for the Nobel Peace Prize or something? What's going on?
I don't know. Yeah, he's going against Russia. Now for mental health. Which
what, bro? Get rid of the franchise belt. Start cleaning up shit on your side of town before you try to clean up the world.
Yeah. I agree with you, man. Well, that's all we got, ladies and gentlemen, for this week. We will be on tomorrow.
You didn't say nothing about my Bruce Wayne. I'm on my Bruce Wayne shit right now. You didn't say nothing.
I know David with the rich view over there. Rich el vato, Mr. Bruce Wayne. Sitting in what's the view? Is that Manhattan?
It's Manhattan. Well, it's you see a little bit of the Hudson and Jersey in the background, but there's a World Trade.
You look
this way, you can see a little bit of Uptown.
Like chingos of cash.
Empire State Building. There's a few buildings in the.
All right, no, we know, Rich. David living it up in Manhattan thing out. Nah, man. Thank you, David. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. David will be traveling tomorrow. He won't be with us. I will give my prediction tomorrow. We'll have special guest Danielle Perkins. Thank you for
Yo, I
joining
do
us.
want to hang out, man. I would like to come in if I can. So I might be at the
I will
airport.
leave.
I might be in the
Yeah,
airport trying to dial in.
Dial in, man. Just pop right in. We'll be in heavy discussion. And if y'all don't mind, y'all like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and please join us next week with Putazos and Pendejadas. Thank you. Peace out.
Yo, give my best
Dave,
to Danielle,
we'll
bro.
see you. Oh, one more thing, man. It's coming in.
The update. We need the update.
It's thicker. The update thicker.
You do
The
the just for men?
update it's a little thicker. Not yet. I'm not gonna add in the just for men until it gets real cholo thick. Then I'll put the but it's gonna go. I'm hoping to go over the lip. Over the lip.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, you're trying to do the tombstone.
Well, the tombstone, the magic in Bound by Honor. Yeah.
Nah, man.
You want to die with it, right? All right, man. We'll see you. We're out.
Take it easy. Y'all have a good one.
Bow.
Nothing. Loma.